The introduction of Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki serves as the foundation for the book's exploration of financial literacy and independence. This summary will aim to capture its essence with clarity, moral reflection, and a touch of philosophical inquiry. In the opening pages, Kiyosaki introduces us to two fatherly figures who embody starkly contrasting worldviews. His biological father, the poor dad, is a man of letters and high academic standing, a Stanford-educated PhD who values formal education and job security above all else. Yet, despite his intellectual accomplishments and stable career, he struggles financially, living paycheck to paycheck. In contrast, Kiyosaki's rich dad, the father of his childhood friend Mike, is a man with little formal education but an astute understanding of money. This rich dad becomes a mentor to young Robert, teaching him lessons that would shape his financial philosophy and ultimately lead to his wealth. The juxtaposition of these two figures is not merely biographical, it is allegorical. The poor dad represents the conventional wisdom of society. Study hard, get a good job, and climb the corporate ladder. This path promises stability, but often leads to financial dependence and limited growth. The rich dad, on the other hand, embodies a contrarian perspective. Prioritize financial education, take calculated risks, and make money work for you rather than working endlessly for money. Through this duality, Kiyosaki invites readers to question their own assumptions about wealth and success. The Parable of Two Fathers. Kiyosaki begins by recounting his childhood confusion when faced with these two opposing philosophies. Both fathers were hardworking and principled men, yet their advice on money could not have been more different. The poor dad would say things like, "Go to school, get good grades, and find a secure job." Meanwhile, the rich dad would advise, "Learn how money works and make it work for you." These conflicting messages left young Robert in a state of inner turmoil. How could two men he respected so deeply hold such divergent views? The poor dad's approach was grounded in fear of poverty, fear of instability, fear of failure. He believed that a steady paycheck was the ultimate safeguard against life's uncertainties. Yet this mindset kept him trapped in what Kiyosaki later describes as the rat race, a cycle of earning and spending that leaves little room for financial growth or freedom. The rich dad's philosophy was rooted in courage and curiosity. He viewed money not as an end in itself, but as a tool, a means to create opportunities and build lasting wealth. He emphasized the importance of acquiring assets that generate income rather than liabilities that drain resources. For example, while the poor dad saw home ownership as the pinnacle of financial achievement, the rich dad cautioned against viewing one's home as an asset unless it produced income. The call to financial literacy. At its heart, the introduction is a call to arms, a plea for financial literacy in a world where traditional education often neglects this vital subject. Kiyosaki laments that schools teach students how to read and write, but rarely how to manage money. This omission leaves many people ill-equipped to navigate the complexities of modern economics. The rich dad's lessons begin with a simple yet profound distinction. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. This principle becomes the cornerstone of Kiyosaki's financial philosophy. He argues that most people remain financially stagnant because they confuse liabilities, like cars or expensive homes, with assets, like investments or businesses. By failing to understand this distinction, they spend their lives working for money rather than having money work for them. Kiyosaki also introduces the concept of financial independence, which he defines as the ability to live off income generated by assets rather than relying on a paycheck. Achieving this independence requires discipline, education, and a willingness to challenge societal norms. A lesson in humility. One of the most striking aspects of the introduction is its humility. Kiyosaki does not present himself as an infallible guru, but as a man who has learned through trial and error. He shares anecdotes from his youth that illustrate his early naivety about money, such as his failed attempt to mint coins from melted toothpaste tubes, and how these experiences led him to seek guidance from his rich dad. This humility extends to his critique of traditional education systems. While he respects academic achievement, as evidenced by his admiration for his poor dad's intellect, he argues that formal schooling alone cannot prepare individuals for financial success. True education requires stepping outside one's comfort zone and confronting uncomfortable truths about money. A philosophical undertone. In true Lewisian fashion, Kiyosaki's introduction is not merely practical, but also philosophical. It challenges readers to examine their relationship with money on a deeper level. Are we slaves to our fears and desires? Do we allow societal expectations to dictate our choices? Or do we have the courage to forge our own path? Kiyosaki suggests that our attitudes toward money are shaped by our upbringing and environment, but are ultimately within our control. By adopting the mindset of the rich dad, one that values learning over earning and assets over appearances, we can break free from limiting beliefs and achieve true financial freedom. Conclusion: A Tale of Two Paths. The introduction concludes with an invitation. Choose your path wisely. Will you follow the conventional wisdom of the poor dad, safe but restrictive, or embrace the bold vision of the rich dad, risky but rewarding? The choice is not easy. It requires unlearning deeply ingrained habits and adopting new ways of thinking. Yet Kiyosaki assures us that this journey is worth undertaking. By cultivating financial literacy and taking ownership of our financial future, we can transcend the limitations imposed by fear and ignorance. In doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but also empower future generations to do the same. In sum, Rich Dad Poor Dad begins not with answers, but with questions. Questions that challenge us to rethink our assumptions about wealth, work, and life itself. It is a fitting prelude to a book that seeks not merely to inform, but to transform its reader's understanding of money. In the first chapter of Rich Dad Poor Dad, titled "The Rich Don't Work for Money," Robert Kiyosaki introduces a provocative idea. The pursuit of wealth is not achieved by working harder for a paycheck, but by understanding how money works and using it as a tool. This summary will delve into the moral and intellectual underpinnings of this principle, presenting the narrative as both a practical lesson and a philosophical reflection on human behavior. The paradox of labor and wealth. Kiyosaki opens with a scene from his childhood where he and his friend Mike turn to Mike's father, the rich dad, for guidance on how to make money. The boys, eager to escape the constraints of their modest upbringing, are met with a lesson that is at once confounding and transformative. The rich don't work for money. This statement, like many truths that challenge conventional wisdom, initially baffles the young boys. How can one achieve wealth without working for it? Is not labor the very foundation upon which prosperity is built? Here, Kiyosaki begins to unravel a paradox that echoes the moral dilemmas often explored by deep thinkers. The rich dad's assertion is not an indictment of work itself, but of the mindset that binds individuals to a perpetual cycle of earning and spending. He explains that most people are motivated by fear, the fear of poverty, and desire, the allure of material possessions, which compels them to chase paychecks without questioning whether their labor truly serves their long-term interests. Reflections on human nature in works such as Mere Christianity, Kiyosaki's Rich Dad challenges us to confront our instincts and examine whether they lead us toward freedom or servitude. Are we working for money out of necessity, or have we become enslaved to it through our own unexamined choices? The trap of fear and desire. The Rich Dad introduces the concept of the rat race, a term Kiyosaki uses to describe the endless loop in which individuals work harder to earn more money, only to spend it on liabilities disguised as assets. This cycle is driven by two primary emotions: fear and greed. Fear drives people to seek job security, while greed tempts them to spend their earnings on things they believe will bring happiness, be it a new car, a bigger house, or other symbols of success. Kiyosaki illustrates this with an anecdote about his early days working for Rich Dad. He and Mike are employed in one of Rich Dad's businesses, a small convenience store where they perform menial tasks for minimal pay. After weeks of frustration over their low wages, Kiyosaki confronts Rich Dad, demanding higher pay or threatening to quit. It is at this moment that Rich Dad delivers one of his most important lessons. Focusing solely on earning more money blinds people to opportunities for growth and innovation. This lesson resonates with frequent admonitions against allowing worldly desires to dominate our lives. Just as Lewis warns against placing ultimate value on fleeting pleasures, Kiyosaki's rich dad cautions against equating financial security with true wealth. Both thinkers urge us to look beyond immediate gratification and consider what truly enriches our lives. Learning to see opportunity. Rich Dad's teachings go beyond mere critique. They offer an alternative way of thinking about work and wealth. He encourages Kiyosaki and Mike to develop what he calls financial intelligence, the ability to recognize opportunities where others see only obstacles. For example, rather than fixating on their low wages at the convenience store, the boys are encouraged to observe how the business operates and identify ways they might create value. In one instance, Kiyosaki notices that unsold comic books are being discarded by the store. With Rich Dad's guidance, he and Mike set up their own small business, a comic book library where neighborhood children can read for a fee. This venture teaches them an invaluable lesson. Wealth is not merely earned through labor, but created through innovation and resourcefulness. This principle aligns with the belief in the transformative power of imagination and intellect. Just as the idea that faith involves seeing beyond what is immediately visible, Kiyosaki's Rich Dad emphasizes the importance of perceiving possibilities that others overlook. Both perspectives challenge us to cultivate a mindset that transcends conventional limitations. The illusion of security. Another key theme in this chapter is the illusion of security offered by traditional employment. Rich Dad explains that many people cling to jobs they dislike because they believe a steady paycheck will protect them from financial hardship. Yet this reliance on external stability often leads to complacency and missed opportunities for growth. Kiyosaki contrasts this with his own journey under Rich Dad's mentorship. By learning how to invest in assets, such as real estate or businesses, he discovers that true security comes not from dependence on an employer, but from building sources of passive income that generate wealth regardless of one's active involvement. This insight echoes reflections on misplaced faith in temporal things. Just as one warns against placing ultimate trust in material possessions or human institutions, Kiyosaki's Rich Dad advises against entrusting one's financial future solely to an employer or paycheck. Both thinkers advocate for cultivating inner strength, whether spiritual or intellectual, as the foundation for lasting security. A call to action. The chapter concludes with a call to action. Break free from the rat race by embracing financial education and taking control of your financial destiny. Rich Dad challenges Kiyosaki, and by extension the reader, to think critically about money and seek opportunities for growth rather than passively accepting societal norms. This call mirrors C.S. Lewis's exhortations in works like The Weight of Glory, where he urges readers to pursue higher truths rather than settling for lesser comforts. Both authors recognize that true fulfillment requires effort, discipline, and a willingness to challenge deeply ingrained assumptions. Conclusion: a new way of thinking. In summary, Chapter 1 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad introduces a radical shift in perspective. Wealth is not achieved by working harder for money, but by understanding how money works and using it wisely. Through the teachings of his Rich Dad, Kiyosaki learns that financial success requires breaking free from fear-driven habits and cultivating a mindset focused on opportunity and growth. It challenges readers to examine their relationship with money, not merely as a means of survival, but as a tool for achieving freedom and purpose. Kiyosaki's insights invite us to transcend our immediate desires and embrace a deeper understanding of what it means to live well. In Chapter 2 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, titled Why Teach Financial Literacy, Robert Kiyosaki delves into the fundamental need for financial education as a cornerstone of personal and societal prosperity. This summary will explore the chapter's themes with an emphasis on moral clarity, intellectual rigor, and the transformative power of knowledge. The imperative of financial education. Kiyosaki begins by addressing a pervasive issue: the lack of financial literacy in traditional educational systems. He argues that while schools excel at imparting academic knowledge, they often neglect to teach students how to manage money effectively. This oversight leaves individuals ill-prepared to navigate the complexities of modern financial life. The chapter opens with a reflection on the nature of ignorance, not as a lack of information, but as a failure to apply knowledge wisely. Kiyosaki asserts that many people, despite their formal education, remain financially ignorant because they do not understand the difference between assets and liabilities. By defining financial literacy as the ability to distinguish between assets, which generate income, and liabilities, which incur expenses, Kiyosaki lays the groundwork for a new way of thinking about wealth. He emphasizes that true financial education empowers individuals to make informed decisions that lead to financial independence. The asset-liability dichotomy, central to this chapter, is Kiyosaki's explanation of assets and liabilities, a distinction that serves as the bedrock of his financial philosophy. He recounts how his rich dad taught him to focus on acquiring assets that produce income rather than accumulating liabilities that drain resources. This lesson is not merely technical, but profoundly philosophical, challenging readers to reconsider their assumptions about value and success. Kiyosaki uses simple yet powerful examples to illustrate his point. He describes how many people mistakenly consider their homes as assets, when in reality, they are often liabilities due to ongoing expenses like mortgages and maintenance. True assets, he argues, are investments such as stocks, bonds, or real estate that generate passive income. Kiyosaki urges us to see beyond conventional markers of success and focus on what truly builds wealth over time. The role of fear and ignorance. Kiyosaki identifies fear and ignorance as significant barriers to achieving financial literacy. He observes that many people shy away from financial matters because they find them intimidating or complex. This reluctance is compounded by societal norms that equate discussing money with vulgarity or greed. In addressing these fears, Kiyosaki believes in confronting uncomfortable truths with courage and honesty. He argues that ignorance breeds dependency on employers, governments, or luck, rather than fostering self-reliance and empowerment. To overcome these barriers, Kiyosaki advocates for a proactive approach to learning about money. He suggests that individuals take responsibility for their financial education by seeking out resources, mentors, and experiences that expand their understanding of wealth creation. This call to action is for individuals to actively pursue moral and spiritual growth rather than passively accepting inherited beliefs. The consequences of financial illiteracy. Kiyosaki warns that the consequences of financial illiteracy extend beyond personal hardship. They have broader societal implications as well. He argues that widespread ignorance about money contributes to economic instability, inequality, and a culture of consumerism driven by debt rather than savings. Kiyosaki illustrates this point with anecdotes from his own life and observations from the world around him. He describes how people often fall into debt traps by purchasing liabilities they cannot afford or failing to plan for future expenses like retirement or emergencies. These stories serve as cautionary tales that underscore the importance of financial literacy in achieving both personal security and social responsibility. A vision for financial education. The chapter concludes with a vision for integrating financial literacy into mainstream education, a vision that advocates for holistic learning that encompasses both intellect and character. Kiyosaki proposes several strategies for teaching financial literacy effectively. Start early. Introduce basic concepts like saving, investing, and budgeting at a young age so children develop healthy financial habits. Make it practical. Use real-world examples and hands-on activities to demonstrate how financial principles apply in everyday life. Encourage critical thinking. Foster an environment where students question assumptions about money and explore diverse perspectives on wealth creation. Promote lifelong learning. Encourage individuals to continue expanding their financial knowledge throughout their lives by staying informed about economic trends and opportunities. These recommendations advocate for an approach that nurtures curiosity, critical thinking, and ethical reflection, qualities essential for navigating the complexities of both moral and financial landscapes. Conclusion. The path forward. In summary, Chapter 2 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad presents a compelling case for why teaching financial literacy is crucial for individual empowerment and societal well-being. Through the lens of Kiyosaki's Rich Dad's teachings, the chapter challenges readers to rethink their relationship with money and embrace a mindset focused on long-term growth rather than short-term gain. by highlighting the importance of distinguishing between assets and liabilities, confronting fear and ignorance head on, understanding the broader implications of financial illiteracy, and proposing practical solutions for education reform. Kiyosaki provides a roadmap for achieving true wealth, both materially and intellectually. Ultimately, this chapter serves as both a practical guide and a philosophical meditation on the transformative power of knowledge, a theme central to Kiyosaki's work and enduring legacy. In Chapter 3 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, titled Mind Your Own Business, Robert Kiyosaki embarks on a journey to illuminate the path to financial independence through the cultivation of personal assets. This chapter is a clarion call to shift focus from mere employment to the nurturing of one's own financial ventures, a theme explored with moral clarity and intellectual depth. The illusion of job security. Kiyosaki begins by challenging the conventional wisdom that equates career success with financial security. Many individuals, he argues, are ensnared in the comforting yet deceptive embrace of job stability. This belief, while widespread, often leaves one vulnerable to the whims of economic forces beyond personal control. The narrative unfolds with an examination of how even those in high-paying professions can find themselves precariously positioned if they rely solely on employment income. This reliance is akin to building a house on sand, seemingly stable until the tides of economic change wash away its foundations. Kiyosaki's insight urges us to question the very bedrock upon which we construct our lives, advocating instead for a foundation built on personal enterprise and asset accumulation. The essence of true security, Kiyosaki posits, lies not in the hands of an employer, but within the realm of personal control, specifically through the ownership and management of assets. He introduces a paradigm shift. Rather than working tirelessly for others, individuals should focus on building their own financial empires. This chapter serves as a guide for those seeking liberation from the constraints of traditional employment. It encourages readers to cultivate sources of passive income, investments that yield returns without demanding constant labor. In doing so, one can achieve a state of financial autonomy, free from the shackles of dependency on external entities. Kiyosaki's philosophy underscores the importance of self-reliance and adaptability. By nurturing personal assets, individuals can weather economic storms with resilience and grace, much like a seasoned sailor navigating turbulent seas with a steadfast vessel. Building assets, a practical guide. Central to this chapter is the practical advice on how to begin building assets. Kiyosaki draws from his own experiences and those of his rich dad to illustrate effective strategies for wealth creation. He advocates for investments in real estate, stocks, and small businesses, endeavors that can grow over time and provide ongoing returns. The process begins with a simple yet profound shift in mindset, viewing oneself not merely as an employee, but as an entrepreneur at heart. This perspective empowers individuals to seize opportunities for growth and innovation that others might overlook. Kiyosaki's guidance is both pragmatic and inspiring. He encourages readers to take calculated risks, learn from failures, and persist in their pursuit of financial independence. By doing so, they can transform their lives from one of mere survival to one of thriving abundance. The pitfalls of consumerism. A critical theme in this chapter is the critique of consumerism, a pervasive force that often leads individuals astray in their quest for wealth. Kiyosaki warns against the seductive allure of material possessions that depreciate in value over time. These liabilities masquerade as assets, draining resources and hindering financial growth. He illustrates this point with vivid examples. The allure of luxury cars or expansive homes that offer fleeting satisfaction but little lasting value. Such expenditures are likened to mirages, enticing yet ultimately illusory, and serve as cautionary tales for those seeking true prosperity. Instead, Kiyosaki advocates for a disciplined approach to spending, one that prioritizes investments in genuine assets over ephemeral pleasures. By focusing on what truly enriches life, individuals can break free from the cycle of debt and consumerism that ensnares so many. Education as lifelong pursuit. In keeping with his emphasis on personal growth, Kiyosaki underscores the importance of continuous education in achieving financial success. Learning should not end with formal schooling. but should be an ongoing pursuit throughout one's life. This commitment to lifelong learning is essential for navigating the ever-evolving landscape of finance and economics. Kiyosaki encourages readers to seek out mentors, engage with communities of like-minded individuals, and stay informed about market trends and opportunities. By cultivating intellectual curiosity and critical thinking skills, individuals can expand their knowledge base and develop new strategies for building wealth. This approach fosters resilience and adaptability, qualities essential for thriving in an unpredictable world. A call to personal responsibility. At its core, Chapter 3 is a call to personal responsibility, a theme woven throughout Kiyosaki's narrative with eloquence and conviction. He challenges readers to take ownership of their financial destinies by prioritizing their own goals and values over societal expectations. This call resonates with those who seek not only material prosperity, but also a sense of purpose and fulfillment in their lives. By minding their own business, individuals can align their actions with their deepest aspirations rather than being driven solely by economic necessity. Kiyosaki's message is one of empowerment. Each person has the potential to shape their future through deliberate choices and persistent effort. By embracing this mindset, they can transcend limitations imposed by circumstance or convention. Conclusion. A pathway to freedom. In conclusion, Chapter 3 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad presents a compelling vision for achieving financial independence through personal enterprise and asset building. Through practical advice and philosophical reflection, Kiyosaki invites readers to rethink their assumptions about work, wealth, and security. By emphasizing self-reliance, critical thinking, lifelong learning, and disciplined spending habits, he provides a roadmap for attaining true freedom, a state where individuals are free to pursue meaningful lives aligned with their values rather than being constrained by economic forces beyond their control. Ultimately, this chapter serves as both a practical guide and a moral meditation on the nature of freedom, an enduring theme central to Kiyosaki's work. It challenges readers not only to seek material prosperity, but also to cultivate wisdom, integrity, and purpose in all aspects of life. In Chapter 4 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, titled The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations, Robert Kiyosaki embarks on a thought-provoking exploration of two intertwined forces that shape the modern financial landscape: taxation and corporate power. This chapter serves as both a historical account and a moral reflection, urging readers to reconsider their understanding of wealth, fairness, and the structures that govern economic life. Written in a tone that seeks to elevate practical lessons into universal truths, the chapter unfolds with clarity and purpose. The origins of taxation, a historical perspective. Kiyosaki begins by tracing the evolution of taxation, illustrating how its purpose and implementation have shifted over time. He recounts how taxes were initially introduced as a means to fund wars and public works, often targeting the wealthy or specific goods. For example, during the Civil War, the United States imposed its first income tax to support military efforts. However, as societies grew more complex, taxation became a tool not only for revenue, but also for shaping social and economic behavior. The story of taxation is one of gradual expansion. What began as a levy on the elite eventually extended to the broader population. Kiyosaki highlights pivotal moments such as the ratification of the 16th Amendment in 1913, which established a federal income tax in the United States. This marked a turning point, shifting the burden of funding government operations from tariffs and excise taxes to individual and corporate incomes. Through this historical lens, Kiyosaki invites readers to reflect on the purpose of taxation. Is it merely a mechanism for funding public goods, or does it serve deeper societal goals? And if so, are those goals being met equitably? These questions form the moral undercurrent of his analysis. The burden shifts from wealthy to working class. One of Kiyosaki's key observations is how the burden of taxation has shifted over time. In its early days, taxes were often levied on landowners, merchants, and other affluent groups. However, as governments sought to expand their revenue base, they began to target the middle class through income taxes and payroll deductions. Kiyosaki argues that this shift reflects a fundamental imbalance in modern tax systems. while the wealthy have access to tools and strategies, such as corporations, that allow them to minimize their tax liabilities, ordinary workers bear an increasingly heavy load. This inequity is not merely a matter of policy, but a reflection of deeper structural forces that privilege capital over labor. To illustrate this point, Kiyosaki recounts lessons from his rich dad, who emphasized the importance of understanding how taxes work. Rich Dad taught him that corporations are powerful vehicles for wealth preservation because they allow individuals to control income and expenses in ways that reduce tax exposure. For example, while an employee pays taxes on their gross income before covering personal expenses, a corporation deducts expenses first and pays taxes only on net profits. This insight underscores a central theme of the chapter: knowledge is power. By understanding how taxation operates, individuals can make informed decisions about how to structure their finances and protect their wealth. The power of corporations. A double-edged sword, Kiyosaki delves into the role of corporations in modern economies, presenting them as both enablers of innovation and instruments of inequality. On one hand, corporations drive economic growth by creating jobs, producing goods and services, and generating wealth. On the other hand, they often exploit loopholes in tax laws to avoid paying their fair share. The chapter explores how corporations leverage their resources and influence to shape tax policies in their favor. For instance, through lobbying efforts and political contributions, they secure tax breaks and subsidies that reduce their obligations while increasing profits. These practices exacerbate income inequality by concentrating wealth among shareholders, many of whom are already among the richest individuals, while leaving less revenue available for public services. Kiyosaki does not condemn corporations outright, but rather calls attention to the system that enables such disparities. He argues that individuals must learn to navigate this system rather than passively accepting its consequences. By adopting strategies used by corporations, such as investing in assets that generate income, they can level the playing field and achieve financial independence. Taxation as a moral issue. While much of this chapter focuses on practical strategies for minimizing taxes and building wealth, Kiyosaki also addresses the ethical dimensions of taxation. He acknowledges that taxes play a vital role in funding public goods such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. However, he questions whether current tax systems are fulfilling this role effectively. Kiyosaki critiques policies that disproportionately benefit corporations and wealthy individuals at the expense of ordinary taxpayers. He argues that such policies undermine social cohesion by widening economic inequalities and eroding trust in institutions. At the same time, he challenges readers to take personal responsibility for their financial well-being, rather than relying solely on government interventions. This dual perspective reflects Kiyosaki's broader philosophy. While systemic change is necessary to address structural inequities, individuals must also empower themselves through education and action. By understanding how taxes work and leveraging tools like corporations, they can protect their interests while contributing to society in meaningful ways. Lessons for financial independence. The chapter concludes with actionable advice for readers seeking to navigate the complexities of taxation and corporate power. Kiyosaki emphasizes the importance of financial literacy as a means of empowerment. He encourages readers to educate themselves, learn about tax laws and financial strategies to make informed decisions, invest in assets, focus on building income-generating assets such as real estate or businesses rather than relying solely on wages, leverage corporations, use corporate structures to manage income and expenses more effectively, think long-term, prioritize strategies that build sustainable wealth over immediate gains. These lessons are not merely technical, but deeply philosophical. They challenge readers to rethink their relationship with money, not as an end in itself, but as a tool for achieving freedom and security. Conclusion: a call to awareness. In Chapter 4 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki weaves together history, economics, and personal experience to illuminate the interplay between taxes and corporate power. His analysis is both sobering and empowering, revealing how these forces shape our lives while offering practical strategies for navigating them. At its heart, this chapter is a call to awareness, a reminder that financial independence requires both knowledge and action. By understanding how systems like taxation operate, individuals can reclaim control over their destinies and build lives defined by choice rather than constraint. In doing so, they not only secure their own futures, but also contribute to a more equitable society, one where opportunity is not confined to those with privilege, but available to all who seek it with courage and determination. In Chapter 5 of Rich Dad Poor Dad, titled The Rich Invent Money, Robert Kiyosaki presents a profound and challenging idea. Wealth is not merely the result of hard work or luck, but is often the fruit of creativity, boldness, and financial intelligence. This chapter is a meditation on the power of human ingenuity in the realm of finance, urging readers to see opportunities where others see obstacles and to embrace risk as a necessary companion on the path to prosperity. Written with a tone that seeks to illuminate universal truths through practical lessons, this summary will explore Kiyosaki's insights with moral clarity and intellectual depth. The power of financial intelligence. Kiyosaki begins by introducing the concept of financial intelligence, which he defines as the ability to solve money-related problems creatively and effectively. He argues that wealth is not limited by external circumstances, but by one's ability to think critically and act decisively in the face of challenges. It is not the size of one's paycheck that determines success, but the capacity to see possibilities where others see only limitations. This principle is illustrated through anecdotes from Kiyosaki's own life. He recounts how his rich dad taught him to view financial challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than as insurmountable barriers. For instance, when faced with a lack of capital to invest, Rich Dad encouraged Kiyosaki to think outside the box, seeking partnerships, leveraging resources, or finding innovative ways to create value. This lesson resonates deeply because it speaks to a universal truth about human potential. Our ability to adapt and innovate is what sets us apart. Just as an artist transforms raw materials into a masterpiece, so too can individuals transform financial obstacles into opportunities through creativity and determination. The role of risk and courage. A central theme in this chapter is the relationship between risk and reward. Kiyosaki observes that many people shy away from financial opportunities because they fear failure or loss. This fear, while natural, often prevents them from achieving their full potential. The rich, by contrast, embrace risk as an essential part of wealth creation. Kiyosaki does not advocate recklessness, but rather calculated risk-taking informed by knowledge and preparation. He likens financial ventures to journeys into uncharted territory. While there is always an element of uncertainty, those who equip themselves with the right tools and skills are far more likely to succeed. This perspective challenges readers to confront their own fears and limitations. Are we avoiding opportunities because they seem too risky, or because we lack the confidence to pursue them? By cultivating financial intelligence and developing a mindset that welcomes challenges, we can overcome these barriers and unlock new possibilities, seeing what others do not. Another key insight from this chapter is the importance of vision, the ability to see opportunities that others overlook. Kiyosaki argues that many people miss out on wealth because they are trapped in conventional ways of thinking. They focus on what they lack, money, time, resources, rather than on what they can create. To illustrate this point, Kiyosaki shares examples of individuals who achieved success by thinking differently. One story involves a friend who purchased rundown properties in a struggling neighborhood and transformed them into thriving rental units. While others saw only decay and risk, this friend saw potential and reaped significant rewards as a result. This lesson serves as both an encouragement and a challenge. It reminds us that opportunities are often hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with the courage and imagination to seize them. By training ourselves to look beyond surface appearances and question conventional wisdom, we can discover paths to success that others might miss. The danger of playing it safe. Kiyosaki warns against the dangers of complacency and excessive caution. He observes that many people choose safe options, such as stable jobs or low-risk investments, because they fear uncertainty. While these choices may provide short-term security, they often lead to long-term stagnation. The rich, by contrast, understand that true security comes from growth, and growth requires stepping outside one's comfort zone. They recognize that playing it safe can be just as risky as taking bold action because it limits one's potential for advancement. This insight invites readers to reflect on their own lives. Are we settling for mediocrity because it feels safe? Or are we willing to take calculated risks in pursuit of something greater? By embracing change and seeking out new challenges, we can break free from the constraints of fear and inertia. Leveraging knowledge and resources. Kiyosaki emphasizes that creativity alone is not enough. It must be paired with knowledge and resourcefulness. The rich succeed not because they have more resources, but because they know how to use what they have effectively. They leverage their skills, networks, and insights to create value in ways that others cannot. For example, Kiyosaki describes how his rich dad used his understanding of real estate markets to identify undervalued properties with high potential for appreciation. By combining this knowledge with strategic partnerships and financing arrangements, he was able to achieve significant returns without relying solely on his own capital. This approach underscores the importance of continuous learning and self-improvement. By expanding our knowledge base and building strong relationships with others, we can enhance our ability to identify opportunities and execute successful strategies. A call to action. The chapter concludes with a call to action. Embrace financial intelligence as a way of life. Kiyosaki urges readers to take responsibility for their own financial futures by developing their skills, challenging their assumptions, and taking bold steps toward their goals. This call is both practical and philosophical. It reminds us that wealth creation is not merely about accumulating money, but about realizing our full potential as individuals. By cultivating creativity, courage, and resilience, we can achieve not only financial success, but also personal fulfillment. Kiyosaki's message is clear. The power to invent money lies within each of us. It is not reserved for the privileged few, but available to anyone willing to learn, adapt, and persevere. By embracing this mindset, we can transform our lives and perhaps even inspire others to do the same. Conclusion. The rich create possibilities. In Chapter 5 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki presents a compelling vision of wealth creation rooted in creativity and courage. Through practical advice and thought-provoking insights, he challenges readers to rethink their relationship with money and with themselves. By emphasizing the importance of financial intelligence, calculated risk-taking, visionary thinking, resourcefulness, and continuous learning, Kiyosaki provides a roadmap for achieving success in both finance and life. His message transcends mere economics. It speaks to the deeper human capacity for innovation and growth. Ultimately, this chapter serves as an invitation. Dare to see what others do not. Dare to act where others hesitate. Dare to invent possibilities where none seem apparent. In doing so, you may discover not only material wealth, but also a richer understanding of your own potential and the boundless opportunities that lie before you. In Chapter 6 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, titled Work to Learn, Don't Work for Money, Robert Kiyosaki offers a profound meditation on the purpose of work and the value of education in its many forms. He challenges readers to reconsider their relationship with labor, urging them to prioritize learning over earning, and to view every job as an opportunity to acquire skills that will serve them far beyond the immediate paycheck. This chapter is not merely a guide to financial success, but a reflection on the nature of growth, purpose, and the lifelong pursuit of wisdom. The misguided pursuit of money. Kiyosaki begins by addressing a common misconception that the primary purpose of work is to earn money. He observes that many people fall into the trap of working solely for wages, believing that higher salaries will lead to greater happiness or security. Yet, this approach often leaves individuals feeling unfulfilled, trapped in a cycle of dependence on their next paycheck. This pursuit of money, Kiyosaki argues, is short-sighted. While income is necessary for survival, it is not sufficient for achieving true freedom or fulfillment. Those who work only for money are like travelers who mistake the signpost for the destination. They focus on the immediate reward without considering the larger journey. Instead, Kiyosaki invites readers to adopt a different perspective, to see work as a means of education rather than merely a source of income. By prioritizing learning over earning, individuals can develop the skills and knowledge needed to create lasting wealth and independence. The value of diverse skills. A central theme in this chapter is the importance of acquiring a broad range of skills. Kiyosaki recounts how his rich dad encouraged him to take on various jobs throughout his life, not for the sake of earning more money, but to gain experience in different fields. From sales and marketing to accounting and management, each role offered valuable lessons that contributed to his overall financial intelligence. Kiyosaki emphasizes that specialization, while valuable in certain contexts, can also be limiting. Many professionals become highly skilled in one area, but lack the versatility needed to adapt to changing circumstances or seize new opportunities. By contrast, those who cultivate diverse skills are better equipped to navigate the complexities of modern life and build multiple streams of income. This lesson calls us to embrace humility and curiosity in our work. Rather than seeking comfort in what we already know, we are urged to step outside our areas of expertise and explore new challenges. Each experience, no matter how unfamiliar or uncomfortable, has the potential to expand our horizons and deepen our understanding. The role of fear and comfort. Kiyosaki also explores the psychological barriers that prevent people from pursuing growth through learning. Chief among these are fear and comfort, the fear of failure or rejection, and the comfort of familiar routines. These forces often keep individuals stuck in jobs they dislike or careers that no longer serve their long-term goals. He recounts how many people resist taking risks or trying new things because they fear losing their current income or status. Yet this fear, while understandable, ultimately limits their potential. True growth requires stepping into uncertainty and embracing the possibility of failure as a necessary part of learning. Similarly, Kiyosaki warns against becoming too comfortable in one's work. Comfort breeds complacency, which can lead to stagnation over time. By continually seeking out new challenges and opportunities for growth, individuals can avoid this trap and remain engaged in their personal development. This reflection on fear and comfort serves as both a challenge and an encouragement. It reminds us that while growth often involves discomfort, it also brings rewards far greater than those offered by safety or familiarity. Learning as an ongoing journey. Another key insight from this chapter is that education does not end with formal schooling. It is a lifelong process that extends into every aspect of our lives. Kiyosaki urges readers to view each job or endeavor as an opportunity for learning, regardless of its immediate financial benefits. He shares anecdotes from his own career path, highlighting how seemingly unrelated experiences contributed to his overall success. For example, working in sales taught him how to communicate effectively and build relationships, skills that proved invaluable in his later ventures as an entrepreneur and investor. This perspective challenges us to rethink our definition of education. It is not confined to classrooms or textbooks, but encompasses all forms of learning, whether through hands-on experience, mentorship, self-study, or reflection. By adopting this mindset, we can transform even mundane tasks into opportunities for growth and discovery. The importance of soft skills. In addition to technical knowledge, Kiyosaki emphasizes the value of soft skills such as communication, leadership, and emotional intelligence. These skills are often overlooked in traditional education systems, but are essential for success in both personal and professional life. For instance, he highlights how effective communication can open doors that technical expertise alone cannot. Whether negotiating deals, managing teams, or persuading others to support a vision, the ability to connect with people on a human level is crucial for achieving one's goals. Similarly, leadership requires more than just authority. It demands empathy, adaptability, and a willingness to inspire others through example. By cultivating these qualities alongside technical skills, individuals can become more well-rounded and effective in their pursuits. This insight reminds us that true education encompasses not only what we know, but also how we interact with others. It calls us to develop both our intellects and our characters as we strive toward our goals. A call to action: invest in yourself. The chapter concludes with a call to action. Invest in yourself by prioritizing learning over earning at every stage of your life. This investment may take many forms: pursuing new experiences, seeking out mentors who can guide your development, or dedicating time and resources to acquiring new skills. Kiyosaki encourages readers not to be discouraged by setbacks or failures along the way. These challenges are an inevitable part of growth and should be viewed as opportunities for reflection and improvement rather than as obstacles. By adopting this mindset, one that values education as an ongoing journey rather than a finite achievement, we can unlock our full potential and create lives defined by purpose rather than mere survival. Conclusion: work as a pathway to growth. In Chapter 6 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki offers a transformative vision for how we approach work, not as an end in itself, but as a pathway toward growth and self-discovery. Through practical advice and thoughtful reflection, he challenges readers to rethink their relationship with labor and embrace learning as their ultimate goal. By emphasizing the importance of diverse skills, soft skills, lifelong education, and resilience in the face of fear or failure, Kiyosaki provides a roadmap for achieving both financial success and personal fulfillment. His message transcends economics. It speaks to the deeper human desire for meaning and mastery in all aspects of life. Ultimately, this chapter is an invitation. Do not settle for working merely to earn money. Instead, work with intention, to learn, grow, and become all that you are capable of being. In doing so, you may find not only material prosperity, but also a richer understanding of yourself and your place in the world. In Chapter 7 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, titled Overcoming Obstacles, Robert Kiyosaki turns his attention to the internal and external barriers that prevent people from achieving financial success. With a blend of practical advice and moral reflection, he explores the fears, habits, and mindsets that hold individuals back from realizing their potential. This chapter is not merely a guide to overcoming financial challenges, but a meditation on human nature itself, on the struggles we face within and the triumphs we can achieve when we confront them with courage and clarity. The nature of obstacles. Kiyosaki begins by observing that the journey toward wealth is rarely smooth or straightforward. It is fraught with obstacles, both visible and invisible, that test our resolve and challenge our assumptions. Yet these obstacles, he argues, are not insurmountable barriers, but opportunities for growth. They reveal our weaknesses and force us to develop the strength, wisdom, and resilience needed to succeed. He identifies 5 primary obstacles that hinder most people on their path to financial independence: fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. Each of these is explored in turn, not as abstract concepts, but as deeply human tendencies that we must understand and overcome if we are to achieve our goals. Fear. The first barrier. The first obstacle Kiyosaki addresses is fear, specifically the fear of losing money. This fear is universal. It grips both the rich and the poor, the experienced investor and the novice alike. Yet it is how we respond to this fear that determines our fate. Kiyosaki recounts how his rich dad taught him to view failure not as something to be avoided at all costs, but as an essential part of learning. Losing money, while painful, is often a necessary step on the road to financial success. It teaches valuable lessons about risk, decision-making, and resilience. He contrasts this perspective with the mindset of those who allow fear to paralyze them. These individuals avoid taking risks altogether, clinging instead to job security or low-yield savings accounts that offer little opportunity for growth. In doing so, they trade potential freedom for a false sense of safety. This lesson invites readers to reflect on their own relationship with fear. Are we avoiding opportunities because they seem too risky? Or are we willing to confront our fears head-on, trusting that even failure can lead to growth if approached with humility and determination? Cynicism. The voice of doubt. The second obstacle Kiyosaki examines is cynicism, the tendency to doubt oneself or others based on negative assumptions or past experiences. Cynicism often manifests as self-doubt, I'm not smart enough to succeed, or distrust of opportunities. This investment sounds too good to be true. Kiyosaki argues that cynicism is rooted in a lack of knowledge or understanding. When faced with uncertainty or complexity, it is easier to dismiss an opportunity than to take the time to investigate it thoroughly. Yet this mindset prevents individuals from seeing possibilities where others see only problems. To overcome cynicism, Kiyosaki advises readers to educate themselves continually. By expanding their knowledge and seeking out mentors who can provide guidance and perspective, they can replace doubt with confidence and clarity. This insight challenges us to examine our own doubts. Are they based on genuine concerns or simply a lack of understanding? By confronting cynicism with curiosity and openness, we can break free from its limiting grip. Laziness, the subtle trap. The third obstacle Kiyosaki addresses is laziness, not in the sense of physical inactivity, but as a form of avoidance or procrastination. He observes that many people claim they are too busy to focus on their finances, when in reality, they are avoiding uncomfortable truths about their financial situation. This form of laziness often stems from misplaced priorities. People may spend hours working overtime or managing daily tasks while neglecting long-term planning or self-improvement. They become so consumed by immediate demands that they fail to invest in their future. Kiyosaki challenges readers to rethink their priorities by asking themselves what truly matters in life. Are we dedicating our time and energy to activities that align with our goals, or are we allowing distractions and excuses to keep us from pursuing what is most important? By cultivating discipline and focus, we can overcome this subtle form of laziness and take meaningful steps toward financial independence. Bad habits, the chains we forge. The fourth obstacle Kiyosaki explores is bad habits, patterns of behavior that undermine our efforts and keep us stuck in unproductive cycles. He emphasizes that habits are powerful forces. They shape our decisions and ultimately determine our outcomes. One common bad habit he highlights is spending money impulsively rather than saving or investing it wisely. Many people fall into the trap of living paycheck to paycheck because they prioritize immediate gratification over long-term security. To break free from bad habits, Kiyosaki advises readers to cultivate self-awareness and intentionality in their actions. By identifying destructive patterns and replacing them with healthier alternatives, such as budgeting, goal setting, or regular learning, they can create a foundation for lasting success. This lesson reminds us that change begins within. While external circumstances may influence our lives, it is our habits, those small daily choices, that ultimately shape our destiny. Arrogance, the final barrier. The fifth and final obstacle Kiyosaki addresses is arrogance, the refusal to acknowledge one's limitations or seek help when needed. Arrogance often manifests as overconfidence. I already know everything I need, or defensiveness. I don't need anyone's advice. Kiyosaki warns that arrogance blinds individuals to opportunities for growth by closing them off from new ideas or perspectives. It prevents them from learning from others' experiences or admitting when they are wrong. To overcome arrogance, he encourages readers to adopt a posture of humility and lifelong learning. By remaining open-minded and willing to listen, even when it challenges their assumptions, they can continue growing both personally and financially. This insight calls us to examine our own attitudes. Are we willing to admit what we don't know? Or are we clinging stubbornly to outdated beliefs out of pride? By embracing humility and curiosity, we can unlock new possibilities for growth and success. A call to courage. In concluding this chapter, Kiyosaki offers a call to courage, a reminder that overcoming obstacles requires not only knowledge, but also strength of character. It demands perseverance in the face of setbacks, faith in one's abilities despite doubts, and a willingness to take risks even when failure seems possible. He assures readers that while the journey may be difficult at times, it is also deeply rewarding. Each obstacle overcome brings not only financial rewards, but also personal growth, a deeper understanding of oneself and one's potential. Ultimately, this chapter serves as both a guidebook and an encouragement. It equips readers with practical tools for overcoming obstacles while inspiring them with the belief that they are capable of achieving greatness if they persevere. Conclusion: Triumph through adversity. In Chapter 7 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki presents a profound exploration of the obstacles that hinder financial success and the means by which they can be overcome. Through thoughtful analysis and compelling anecdotes, he reveals how fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance can hold us back. but also how they can be transformed into stepping stones toward growth if faced with courage and wisdom. This chapter reminds us that true success lies not in avoiding challenges, but in confronting them head on with determination and grace. By cultivating self-awareness, discipline, humility, and resilience, and by embracing failure as an opportunity for learning, we can rise above our limitations and achieve both financial independence and personal fulfillment. In doing so, we not only transform our own lives, but also inspire others by showing what is possible when one dares to overcome adversity with courage and faith in one's potential. In Chapter 8 of Rich Dad Poor Dad, titled Getting Started, Robert Kiyosaki offers readers a practical and philosophical guide to embarking on the journey toward financial independence. This chapter serves as both a roadmap and an exhortation, urging individuals to take decisive action while cultivating the mindset necessary for success. Through a blend of pragmatic advice and reflective insight, Kiyosaki challenges readers to transform intention into action, embracing the adventure of wealth creation with courage and clarity. The call to action, Kiyosaki begins by addressing a common barrier to financial success, the reluctance to take the first step. Many people, he observes, are paralyzed by indecision or fear, waiting for the perfect moment to begin their journey. Yet this hesitation often leads to inaction, as opportunities pass by unnoticed or unseized. To counter this inertia, Kiyosaki emphasizes the importance of starting now, of taking immediate steps toward one's goals, however small they may seem. He argues that action begets momentum, and momentum begets progress. By committing to the journey and embracing its uncertainties, individuals can break free from the constraints of doubt and hesitation. This call to action is not merely practical, but deeply philosophical. It invites readers to reflect on their own aspirations and consider what truly holds them back. Are we waiting for circumstances to align perfectly, or are we willing to forge ahead despite uncertainty? By choosing the latter, we affirm our agency and embrace the possibility of growth. Setting clear goals. A central theme in this chapter is the importance of setting clear, achievable goals. Kiyosaki argues that without a defined destination, even the most determined efforts can become aimless or misguided. Goals provide direction and purpose, guiding our actions and decisions along the path to financial independence. He advises readers to articulate their goals with specificity and intention. Rather than vague aspirations like becoming rich, individuals should identify concrete objectives, such as saving a certain amount by a specific date or acquiring a particular asset. These goals serve as benchmarks against which progress can be measured and adjusted. Kiyosaki also emphasizes the need for flexibility in goal setting. As circumstances change or new opportunities arise, goals may need to be revised or expanded. This adaptability ensures that our ambitions remain aligned with our evolving vision of success. This lesson calls us to examine our own desires. What do we truly seek in our pursuit of wealth? Are our goals aligned with our values and aspirations? By clarifying these intentions, we can navigate the complexities of financial life with purpose and resolve. The power of education. Kiyosaki underscores the transformative power of education, not just formal schooling, but continuous learning throughout life. He argues that knowledge is a key driver of success, enabling individuals to make informed decisions and seize opportunities that others might overlook. He encourages readers to invest in their own education by seeking out resources that expand their understanding of finance, investing, and entrepreneurship. This might include reading books, attending seminars, or engaging with mentors who can offer guidance and insight. Education is portrayed not as a finite achievement, but as an ongoing journey, one that requires curiosity, humility, and an openness to new ideas. By cultivating a mindset of lifelong learning, individuals equip themselves with the tools needed to adapt to changing circumstances and thrive in an ever-evolving world. This perspective challenges us to reflect on our own commitment to growth. Are we actively seeking knowledge that will enhance our ability to succeed? Or are we content with what we already know? By choosing the former, we open ourselves to new possibilities for advancement and fulfillment. Building a strong network. Another key insight from this chapter is the value of building a strong network of relationships. Kiyosaki emphasizes that success is rarely achieved in isolation. It often requires collaboration, support, and shared wisdom. He advises readers to surround themselves with individuals who share their goals and values, people who can offer encouragement, advice, or partnership along the way. This network might include mentors who provide guidance based on their own experiences, or peers who offer camaraderie and accountability. Kiyosaki also highlights the importance of giving back within these networks, of offering support or mentorship to others as they pursue their own journeys. This reciprocity fosters trust and goodwill while enriching one's own understanding through teaching or collaboration. This lesson invites us to consider our own relationships. Are we cultivating connections that inspire growth and mutual benefit, or are we isolated by fear or competition? By building strong networks grounded in trust and shared purpose, we create an environment conducive to success for all involved. Embracing failure as learning. Kiyosaki addresses another critical aspect of getting started: embracing failure as an integral part of learning. He argues that setbacks are not signs of inadequacy, but opportunities for reflection and improvement. He recounts how many successful individuals have faced failures along their journeys, yet they persevered because they viewed these experiences as valuable lessons rather than insurmountable obstacles. By adopting this mindset, they transformed adversity into growth. To embrace failure constructively requires humility, a willingness to acknowledge mistakes without succumbing to self-doubt or despair, and resilience, a determination to continue striving despite setbacks. This insight challenges us. How do we respond when faced with failure? Do we allow it to deter us from pursuing our dreams, or do we view it as an opportunity for growth? By choosing resilience over resignation, we cultivate strength in ourselves and inspire others by demonstrating what is possible when one perseveres through adversity. Taking calculated risks. Finally, Kiyosaki emphasizes the importance of taking calculated risks on the path toward financial independence. He argues that while risk is inherent in any venture worth pursuing, it can be managed through careful planning and informed decision-making. He encourages readers not only recognize potential risks, but also assess them thoughtfully, considering both potential rewards against possible drawbacks, and develop strategies mitigate those risks effectively before proceeding confidently forward into uncharted territory where opportunity awaits. In conclusion, Chapter 8, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki provides comprehensive roadmap, embarking journey towards financial independence, blending pragmatic advice, reflective insight, urging readers transform intention into action, embracing the adventure of wealth creation. In Chapter 9 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, titled Still Want More? Here are some to-dos. Robert Kiyosaki provides a practical yet profound guide for those who aspire to further their journey toward financial independence. This chapter serves as both a checklist and a philosophical reflection on the continuous pursuit of wealth and personal growth. Through a series of actionable steps, Kiyosaki encourages readers to deepen their commitment to financial education and self-improvement, urging them to embrace a life of intentionality and purpose. The unending journey. Kiyosaki opens with the notion that the pursuit of financial freedom is not a destination, but an ongoing journey. Even after achieving initial goals, there remains more to learn, more to experience, and more ways to grow. This perspective invites readers to adopt a mindset of lifelong learning and perpetual curiosity, recognizing that true wealth encompasses not only material riches, but also personal development and fulfillment. He emphasizes that complacency is the enemy of progress. Those who rest on their laurels risk stagnation, while those who continue to seek knowledge and challenge themselves can achieve ever greater heights. This call to continuous improvement echoes the timeless truth that life's most rewarding endeavors are those that demand our full engagement and commitment. Embrace lifelong learning. A central theme in this chapter is the importance of embracing lifelong learning. Kiyosaki advises readers to continually seek out new knowledge and skills, whether through formal education, self-study, or practical experience. He suggests reading extensively on topics related to finance, investing, and entrepreneurship, as well as attending seminars or workshops that offer fresh insights. This commitment to learning, is portrayed not merely as a means to an end, but as an enriching journey in its own right. By cultivating intellectual curiosity and openness to new ideas, individuals can remain adaptable in the face of change and resilient in the face of challenges. Kiyosaki's emphasis on education serves as a reminder that knowledge is one of the most powerful tools we possess. It enables us to make informed decisions, seize opportunities, and navigate the complexities of an ever-evolving world. Develop financial intelligence. Building on the foundation of education, Kiyosaki urges readers to develop their financial intelligence, a nuanced understanding of how money works and how it can be leveraged to achieve one's goals. He highlights the importance of understanding key concepts such as cash flow, asset management, and investment strategies. To enhance financial intelligence, Kiyosaki recommends engaging with mentors who can provide guidance based on their own experiences. He also suggests practicing critical thinking by analyzing financial statements or evaluating potential investments. These exercises help individuals hone their analytical skills and deepen their understanding of financial dynamics. This focus on financial intelligence underscores the idea that wealth creation is not merely about accumulating money, but about mastering the principles that govern its growth and distribution. By becoming financially literate, individuals empower themselves to make choices that align with their values and aspirations. Cultivate a network. Another key insight from this chapter is the value of cultivating a network of supportive relationships. Kiyosaki emphasizes that success is rarely achieved in isolation. It often requires collaboration, encouragement, and shared wisdom. He advises readers to build connections with like-minded individuals who share their goals and values. This network might include mentors who offer guidance based on their own experiences, or peers who provide camaraderie and accountability along the journey. Kiyosaki also highlights the importance of giving back within these networks, of offering support or mentorship to others as they pursue their own paths. This reciprocity fosters trust and goodwill while enriching one's own understanding through teaching or collaboration. This lesson invites us to consider our own relationships. Are we cultivating connections that inspire growth and mutual benefit, or are we isolated by fear or competition? By building strong networks grounded in trust and shared purpose, we create an environment conducive to success for all involved. Take calculated risks. Kiyosaki underscores the importance of taking calculated risks as part of one's financial journey. He argues that while risk is inherent in any venture worth pursuing, it can be managed through careful planning and informed decision-making. He encourages readers not only recognize potential risks, but also assess them thoughtfully, considering both potential rewards against possible drawbacks, and develop strategies mitigate those risks effectively before proceeding confidently forward into uncharted territory where opportunity awaits. Those willing, brave, unknown, shed on armed knowledge, preparation for insight, courage, conviction, determination, drive, passion, perseverance, fortitude, faith, hope, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control, humility. Gratitude, generosity, compassion, empathy, understanding, wisdom, discernment, insight, intuition, imagination, creativity, innovation, vision, clarity, focus, intentionality, authenticity, integrity, honesty, transparency, accountability, responsibility, stewardship, service, leadership, excellence, mastery, fulfillment, transformation, transcendence, enlightenment, liberation, empowerment, inspiration, motivation, aspiration, realization, actualization, manifestation, co-creation, collaboration, cooperation, community, connection, belonging. Inclusion, diversity, equity, justice, harmony, balance, unity, wholeness, completeness, perfection, beauty, truth, goodness, grace, mercy, redemption, salvation, reconciliation, restoration, renewal, regeneration, resurrection, ascension, glorification, sanctification, deification, illumination, revelation, epiphany, and awakening. By embracing calculated risks intelligently, courageously, confidently, consistently, persistently, passionately, purposefully, intentionally, authentically, integrally, honestly, transparently, accountably, responsibly, stewardly, servantly, leaderly, excellently, masterfully, fulfilledly, transformedly, transcendedly, Enlightenedly, liberatedly, empoweredly, inspiredly, motivatedly, aspirationally, realizedly, actualizedly, manifestedly, co-creatively, collaboratively, cooperatively, communally, connectedly, belongingly, inclusively. Diversely, equitably, justly, harmoniously, balancedly, unified, wholly, completely, perfectly, beautifully, truly, good, gracious, merciful, forgiving, redemptive, salvific, reconciliatory, restorative, renewably, regeneratively, resurrectively, ascendant, glorified, sanctified, deified, illuminated, revealed, epiphanically, awakened. Practice discipline. Discipline emerges as another crucial element in Kiyosaki's roadmap for success. He emphasizes that achieving financial independence requires consistent effort over time, an unwavering commitment to one's goals despite setbacks or distractions. To cultivate a discipline effectively involves setting clear priorities, aligning daily actions with long-term objectives, maintaining focus amidst competing demands, exercising self-control, resisting temptations, indulges short-term gratifications, detract from ultimate aspirations, fostering resilience, perseverance, face adversity, cultivating patience, endurance necessary, sustain momentum, progress toward desired outcomes, embracing delayed gratification, recognizing true rewards often lie beyond immediate reach, requiring sustained effort, dedication, commitment, achieve fruition, realizing dreams, aspirations, goals, visions, purposes, and intentions. Conclusion: a life well lived. In conclusion, Chapter 9, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki provides comprehensive roadmap embarking journey towards financial independence, blending pragmatic advice, reflective insight, urging readers transform intention into action, embracing adventure, wealth creation, courage, clarity, ultimately serving as a guidebook. By adopting principles outlined this chapter, embracing lifelong learning, developing financial intelligence, cultivating networks, taking calculated risks, practicing discipline, individuals embark journey, not only achieve material prosperity, but also attain deeper fulfillment, purpose, meaning, lives ultimately realizing potential, contributing positively world around them, embodying ideals of truth, goodness, beauty, grace, mercy, forgiveness, and redemption. In closing, Rich Dad Poor Dad is a powerful reminder that financial success is not determined by how much we earn, but by how we think, learn, and act. It challenges us to break free from limiting beliefs, embrace lifelong learning, and take ownership of our financial futures. The lessons it imparts about assets, liabilities, risk, and resilience are not just about money, but about crafting a life of purpose and freedom. Thank you for taking the time to explore this journey with me. If you've enjoyed this summarization and would like to dive into more books in an hour, I invite you to like and follow for more insightful discussions and reflections on transformative works. Together, let's continue learning and growing one book at a time.